Welcome to another episode of Marriage and Relationships. I'm Wasikiare, and tonight our guest speaker we have Mr. John N. Ng'ang'a. Thank you so much, Mr. John Ng'ang'a, for coming. And tonight our topic of discussion will talk about what is Christian marriage. And regarding Christian marriage, what does marriage symbolize?
Maybe since I've not been on this program before, I need to say my qualifications to talk on the topic are three. Number one, this year I'll be celebrating 40 years of marriage. So, which means I have done enough mistakes to be able to tell younger couples what mistakes not to repeat. Yeah. I think the second one is the fact that I have written a book on marriage that helps young people. I've written actually two books related to the topic. One I have called Finding a Life Partner, and the other one is on friendship, which is and the third one is in my book, The Secret of Contentment. I try to talk about Christian marriage. So on that basis, I have written a bit on marriage with me. The third one is the fact that I'm very interested in the topic. I believe strongly, no marriage, no church. Bad marriages, bad churches, and bad nation. As soon as the smallest unit of society, family, has a problem, it will soon be seen in church, and it will soon be seen in the nation. So this program is one of the most important programs anybody can watch. And so on that basis, it's important for us to discuss what's a Christian marriage. And in order to understand what a Christian marriage is, we need to go back to the beginning. In Mark chapter 10, Jesus, being asked various questions on marriage, answered them and he says, it was not like that from the beginning. In other words, the marriage they are trying to talk about, David's marriage, Solomon's marriage, that's not a standard marriage. If you want to know what the Bible wants for a marriage, you go back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 to 25, where marriage first happened. When God created Eve and brought Eve to Adam. And he says, for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Now, and then goes on to say, and they were naked and felt no shame. That's the basis of what a Christian marriage is. And on that basis, you can see the first thing is, if you are a Christian marriage, God has to be the one who brings you together. Yeah. He is the one who created Eve, brought her to Adam. Like I argue in my book on Finding a Life Partner, it is not a Christian marriage when you yourself are trying to get anybody of your own. The same message is repeated in the New Testament in a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, letter 9. Paul discussing the issue of widows says, wait a minute, you are free to marry anyone as long as it belongs to the Lord. So the first qualification for a Christian marriage is that you as a Christian are allowed only to marry somebody who belongs to the Lord. Because then you'll be listening to the Lord. Then you can run your marriage as per the Lord. So if one of you or both of you are not Christians, what you have is not a Christian marriage. That's the first and most important requirement for a Christian marriage.
Okay, and what does marriage mean now to a Christian? Okay,
now once that's understood, and we can come back to that question of what are the characteristics of a Christian marriage, but please understand, why marriage? I think that's what you want us to understand. Why marriage? Why did God was very clear. When he created Adam and Eve, and created the whole world, every evening he said, it is good. Second evening, it is good. When he told man, he said, it's very good. But a short while later, he said, it is not good. What was he saying is not good? For a man to be alone. It's the first time on the new creation for God to say something is not good. So it is God who has the objective for marriage. And put it very clearly. Why should we marry? For companionship, so that we are not lonely. Of course, the man was the one lonely earlier. Yeah. The woman can also be lonely, but by the time she came, there was a man. So what does marriage mean for a Christian? It means opportunity to have companionship. Your marriage can be complete even if you don't get children. Your marriage can be complete even if you don't get rich. Your marriage is incomplete if one of you is lonely. Because the intention of the marriage was to remove loneliness. So if you are still lonely and you're in marriage, then your marriage is not what God expects in marriage. So what's the meaning of Christian marriage? Opportunity for companionship. Opportunity to remove loneliness. To be able to have somebody to share with. Both public information and confidential information. That's what the meaning of it. So when you say I am married, it means I have a companion. When you say I am married, you mean is I have somebody to share. When you say you are married, you say I have a prayer partner. Because that's when you share things that you can take to God together. Okay. That's the meaning for a person who is a Christian. However, let's admit, many people, that's not their meaning of marriage. If you read my book, Finding a Right Partner, I say many people have other reasons for marriage. One of them is you are born in a poor family and you decide the only way of getting rich is to get a brother who has money. So you're not looking for a companion, you're looking for a bank. So that marriage will not be a Christian marriage, because the truth is, if the brother finally is not a bank, there'll be trouble in that marriage. By the way, I seem to give the impression these girls alone. I've also cancelled a marriage where the reason the boy married was because the girl was working and bringing money. And he told me, during the time out, that girl left her job, now she doesn't bring any money. I can't say in this marriage. Because in his own mind, he was not marrying for companionship. Yeah. He was marrying for money. So there are many reasons, wrong reasons. They are not that, of course some Christians are in it, but they are not biblical Christians. If you're a biblical Christian, all you need from your husband, all you need from your wife, first and foremost, the other things can follow, is that it's somebody you can share with. That's why in a Christian marriage, in addition to companionship, is love. Because you see, how would you be able to share with someone if you don't sense that he loves you? If you don't think he's interested in you, how will he be your prayer partner? He's the kind of guy you share all your feelings, how terrible it was, how you embarrass yourself in the office, and then he has a laughing night. What kind of a wife are you? What kind of a woman are you? Now, within no time you realize this guy does not care about me. He ceases to be the companion you wanted. So it's important to understand not every marriage between Christians is a Christian marriage. Okay. And that's a very unfortunate thing.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Ng'ang'a. Tonight we are talking about what is a Christian marriage. Facebook at Champions TV, IG Champions TV Kenya, and also at Twitter Champions TV Kenya. And also you can send us your short SMS on our SMS number 0706 100 100. Back to you, Mr. John Ng'ang'a. And now maybe you can tell us what is church marriage.
Now, when I got married in 1970s. When we were getting married, Christians had 4 types of marriage. There was what they used to call a marriage where you did not formalize. You just pick the girl through the maze garden, threw the clothes into the garden, then you miss your daughter. Sometimes the parents of the boy come and tell you, oh, don't look for your daughter, we are the ones with her. That's still a marriage, but a very unfortunate marriage. The second marriage that were common is a marriage where you do not go through the fellowship. You just go to the pastor and say, I want to marry this girl. And the pastor makes certain requirements and you fulfill them, then you are married in church, and we call it a church wedding. But there's a third type which we call the fellowship wedding. The fellowship wedding, you do not just go to the pastor first. You came to the fellowship, it is East African Revival Brethren. You came to the fellowship, told them you feel it is time to marry. Then they helped you in the whole process of identifying the girl to marry or identifying the man to marry. And they are the same one that will even go through the wedding negotiations with the parents of the girl. They are part of it. Rather than your parents, they will get involved and will help you in the whole process. And even in the reception itself, it will be paid for by the fellowship. They ask you how much money you have, and they can add to it. They can participate. It was called a fellowship wedding because the fellowship was in charge of that marriage. And of course, there is a wedding done at the DC, so Arusi Aqua DC. So you don't go to church at all, and you don't pass through the maize garden. The two of you just go to the marriage registrar and you register it. So, it was a church wedding. Mm-hmm. Of course, a church wedding is a wedding where you do not sleep with a girl before the wedding. You wait until a man of God, who is a church minister, is the one who prays for you and weds you and then gives you a marriage certificate before you can sleep with a girl. That is what a church wedding is. Now, but of course, you can talk about the fellowship wedding. Also, it's a church wedding. But the fellowship wedding had higher standards than the church wedding. Okay. Yeah, and so when you do that, then the church takes a responsibility in helping you as a young couple to get used to each other and to deal with the initial problems.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. John Ng'ang'a. Tonight we are talking of what is a Christian marriage, and we will be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.